The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chasers. Before I get things started, I'd like to give a shout out to all of the members of the Green Gorilla channel and all the people who've helped me improve the quality of the content of the channel. I want to give a shout out to Ermin Nomad, Raphael Brown, Barnolas, Kyle J. Sura, I'm Just Jules, The Book of Ronin, Ab Media 83, NJ Progressive Indie, Damon Harris, Brian McMurray, Ethan Hines, Mr. Lou Meth, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Shop Talk Live, Jones Boy, Ryan Jackson, The Face, Mr. Heat, David the Man, Afro Analyst, NEU, Ronan Martin, Black Wizard ADOS, Camp Low, Isa Abdul Sahir, Sir Anthony, Deshaun Nolly, Aaron Lloyd, MLR, Charles Rogers, Black Dog, Brother Love, Infamous Chillin', Universal 178, Blacksword 404, Rashid Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, See Truth the Revelator, Gold Professor, The Nameless Protagonist, Black Pill Ned Stark, Arthur Unknown, Odd Khaled, Roderick Jackson, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Brian Williams, Kalan Jakala, Sherrod Martin, Ricky Dawson, Cedric Bowman, True 7360, BK Bourne Shaheed, James Washington, Hostile Adept, Seven Coast Dojo, WPR1, Rogish the Buildmonger, I Care, Force Windu, Lady Miss Thing Green, BJS Ibmore, and Marvin Battle Jr. Thank you so much for being members of the Green Gorilla channel again, because you helped me to improve the quality of the content of the channel. And if you are inquiring about how to become a member of the Green Gorilla channel, well, here's how. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. We're back. I'm the G with a PhD. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chasers. And a reminder, a reiteration, a re-emphasis on what may or may not happen here. Let me stop the music real quick, man. Let me stop it. The content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. Yeah, so you might hear some F-bombs, a whole bunch of other cursing and stuff here on the channel. And so if that's not your cup of tea, I'm giving you the opportunity to exit stage left right now. But I'm not really in a good mood right now, man, because about an hour and a half ago, man, I got a phone call from one of my brothers from Chicago. And he told me that another of our brothers had been admitted into the hospital in the ICU for COVID. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not really in a good mood, but I'm gonna do this damn show because I already set myself to do it. But my brother, you know, I don't know if you pray, I don't know if you wish on a star, but I'm praying and hoping that my brother's able to pull through, because that's my dog, man. You know what I'm saying? That's my little brother, man. And he's got diabetes, and he's not doing too well right now, man. So whatever you can do, man, in terms of uplift in relation to spirit, man, you know, please, you know, whatever you can do, man, in terms of saying a prayer or something like that, man, just a willful wish to help carry him through, because I know I am. That's my little brother, man. I love the dude, man. So he's in intensive care, man, from this COVID shit. And y'all got to be aware, man, this shit has not left us. It's still out there. Be careful, man, when y'all wander around the streets, man. Make sure you got your hand sanitizer. You're putting your mask on. Many of you may have already caught this shit and got right through it. But my little brother, man, has underlying health conditions. So it is what it is, man. You know, I'm just hoping he pulls through. So let me just get to the subject matter at hand, man. I want to get through this and get it over with, man. So for the most part, man, the name of the show is Trump Still Ain't Lost the Election and Black Lives Matter is trash. And the reason I say that the election has not been won yet is quite simple. Because the Electoral College hasn't voted yet. Plain and simple. Until the Electoral College votes, we do not have a president-elect of the United States. So, until these people make a decision, there is no president-elect. There is none. So I don't want to hear shit from nobody talking about who the new president is. There is no new president. There is none. Not until Monday. We'll know Monday who the new president is, for sure. Now, in all likelihood, Biden is going to be the president of the United States. In all likelihood. But he's not the president-elect right now. Because nobody can elect the president of the United States except for the members of the Electoral College. That's a fact. So I don't know how many of you all have taken civic courses throughout your career as a student, but this should just be common knowledge. The Associated Press doesn't choose who the president is. Reuters doesn't choose who the president is. CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox News, MSNBC, none of them get to choose who the president is. They don't have the capacity or the ability to do it. There's only 538 people who, for the most part, mirror the Senate, that's 100. You got the House of Representatives, that's 435. And then you got 3 more electors from the District of Columbia. Until they say who the president is, there is no president-elect. That's just the facts. Now, if I were a betting man, I would bet that Trump will not be the next president. He will not continue and do a second term. That's my guess. But he ain't lost yet. And that's just seeming to escape some people. They just don't quite get that. And what people also don't understand is that there are 32 states in the United States in which the state legislatures have demanded, have made it compulsory for electors to vote the way that the popular vote in the state has mandated. That leaves open what? You got 32 plus what number, right? Adds up to 50. Okay? So if 18 of these people in these states, not 18 people, but 18 of these states decide to do something different, well, then something different can happen. Now, I don't know. We don't know. Nobody knows what the future holds. But one thing's for certain. You can never step in the same river twice. Bottom line. Now, I don't think the man's going to be the president of the United States again. But at the same time, I don't know. None of us know. We can say with all likelihood he will not be, and that Biden will be. But until Monday, we don't know shit. Period. We don't know shit. But the next thing I want to talk about, so that's out of the way. I got that out of the way. The next thing I want to talk about is Black Lives Matter. And, you know, let me just say this, man. And I'm just going to be honest with you, man. Black Lives Matter is some straight trash, man. It's straight trash. It's been trash from the beginning. It's been trash from the rip. Let me tell you something, man. I'm from St. Louis. When the riots first broke out, I was there. I went down there. There was no Black Lives Matter there. People were not saying Black Lives Matter. None of that shit. Everything that popped off before this movement became popular was already in place before they got there. These people are branders. They're into branding. I've left videos over and over and over and over and over again talking about this subject matter, talking about this point. But nobody seems to want to buy into it. Everybody's Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Maybe there are some people here in the manosphere who consider Black Lives Matter to be some bullshit. But I know it's some bullshit. And I want you to think about something. How is it possible for a movement to be appointed by the press? How does that work? How has it ever been possible for a grassroots movement to be elected or appointed by the press? How does that happen? That's not a grassroots movement. That's a group of people who've decided upon themselves, they took it upon themselves, they're going to be the face of what's occurring in terms of turmoil and unrest in this nation. Along with the press and political operatives who decided that they would be the face. They would be the spokesperson. But who knew these people? Who rocks with these people? Who agrees with these people? Who knows what principles these people operate and abide by? Especially prior to them coming to the fore via MSNBC, C-SPAN, Fox News, all these news outlets. Nobody knew who the fuck they were. They started Black Lives Matter as a fucking hashtag. Man, I don't know how old you are, but I'm an OG, man. And One of the things I know is that the revolution will not be televised. If there is going to be a revolution, you remember Gil Scott-Heron? The revolution will not be televised. You remember the last poets? The revolution will not be televised. If there's going to be some sort of movement from the people, by the people, for the people, that's just not going to be televised. It's not going to be brought to you by a group of media darlings that nobody knows about, that nobody fucks with, that have a politics that's alienating to a whole host of people, but especially to the very people that they claim to be out there representing. They garnered attention primarily off the deaths of black men. And the funny thing about it is, the very same men that they used to springboard their platform are called for principally to be marginalized, to be decentered. Explain to me, what the fuck kind of movement is that? How do you have a movement that's going to decenter a certain segment of the black population's lives by claiming, well, they decentered us by the patriarchy or some other such fuckery? How do you make that happen? Well, they made it happen. They made it happen. And I see a brother out there named Jay Lethal. Yeah, I know a Darren Seals. I put some of his videos on the channel. And basically he called the members of Black Lives Matter activists who Twitter finger. They branded. Just like, I don't know if you ever heard of Steve Stout, the record label executive who basically put out there a book and a concept called The Tanning of America. And how by shrewd branding and shrewd marketing, you could make your message, your lifestyle, your concept sellable to the white population. And this is what these women did. Now, they were community activists prior to the whole rioting that took place in Ferguson and Baltimore and all of that. So they were working as organizers for non-governmental organizations, but they already had an ideology, a feminist ideology. I don't want to go into this over and over and over and over again. I've been through it enough. But the reality is, these people had an agenda that had nothing to do with helping out black men. And quiet as kept, it ain't got shit to do with helping out nobody else but them motherfucking selves. All they cared about was themselves. The whole time they was doing all the shit they were doing, they gave a fuck about anybody, nobody but themselves. So if you ask me, if I give 1 fuck, 2 fuck, 3 fuck, 4, 5 fuck, 6 fuck, 7 fuck more, 8 fuck, 9 fuck, 10 fuck, 11 fuck, 12 fuck, 13 fuck, 14 fuck, 15 fuck, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 fucks about Black Lives Matter, I don't. I do not. Now that's a lot of fucks. But I don't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter at all. I never have. Because I understand what kind of principles these people are operating by. And the funny thing is, recently, this woman right here, you see on the screen, Patrice Cullors, who recently inked the deal with Warner Brothers. Now imagine that shit. She's a leader of a social movement and she's inking television deals with multimedia conglomerates that manufacture and peddle in negative imagery of black folks. I even do series here. And I let people know various ways in which these media outlets, especially as it pertains to black men, they put out deprecating images and iconography of us, which leads to either consciously or unconsciously reinforcing ideas about the inherent pathological nature of black men, which ends up a lot of times contributing towards us getting killed on the streets and being put down like animals. Because the images that are projected about us out there in the media are images of us being animals. But what's funny is, and it's ironic though, because this woman has appointed herself the czar of all the goddamn Black Lives Matter chapters in the whole goddamn country, and more than likely the world, because you know you got them in other countries now. You got Black Lives Matter in Britain and shit, and God knows where else. You got Black Lives Matter everywhere. And I guarantee you, man, Black Lives Matter has clocked dollars, man. We don't know how much money Black Lives Matter has garnered. We still waiting to figure that shit out. We still waiting to figure it out. Where did the money go? Because I know for a fact it didn't go to getting motherfuckers out of jail in St. Louis. It didn't go to getting a boatload of motherfuckers out of legal trouble in Baltimore. The money didn't go to a whole bunch of homeless motherfuckers in either of these cities. It didn't go to defense funds for these people who are out here in the streets rallying and protesting. It ain't going to the people who kicked it off. In fact, some of the people who were organizing and who led and contributed towards kicking this shit off, they're dead. Not even mentioned. But these motherfuckers got book deals. And you ask me if I give a fuck about Black Lives Matter and whether or not I think it's some trash or not. I think it's straight trash. And you know what's funny? Even the members of the various chapters of Black Lives Matter are now beginning to realize just how much trash Black Lives Matter actually fucking is. And when I come back after a quick little break, I'm about to explain to you just how trash it is. I'll be back in 1 second. And we'll find out. Trash, straight fucking trash. So anyway, man, you see the screen right here. I'm going to use a different method because I'm going to read this article from Politico on Black Lives Matter. And this article basically is entitled Black Lives Matter Power Grab Sets Off Internal Revolt. At issue is whether grassroots energy can translate to influence inside the Beltway and at what cost. Now, first of all, this shit ain't got nothing to do with the grassroots to begin with. They cut the grassroots off. Let me just say that before I even begin. These people are professionals who got paid to organize at NGOs, non-governmental organizations. Who knows how long they have been doing it? It's not work that pays a lot of money. Okay? You might make 30, 40,000, maybe even 50,000 doing this kind of work. Probably around the 30 to 40 range, if you're lucky. Okay? But it's not grassroots. Grassroots is the people not getting paid by a non-governmental organization to do organizing work. That's not how this works. That's not grassroots. SNCC was grassroots. SCLC, that's grassroots. Black Panthers, grassroots. This shit ain't grassroots. It's not grassroots. So there you have it. Colors. Patrice Colors. Anyway, here's what the article says, man. It says the Black Lives Movement or Matter movement is buckling under the strain of its own success, with tensions rising between local chapters and national leaders over the group's goals, direction, and money. Now, we already told you that this was going to happen to begin with. This was already known to be the case. Now you got tensions rising between local chapters. It says from the beginning, Black Lives Matter was a grassroots effort. No, it was not. It was not. See, this is how white people get their news. And so they're going to start thinking that Black Lives Matter actually was grassroots. It never was. They came in and usurped as interlopers the kind of work that was going on the ground in Ferguson, Missouri. They brought their out-of-town asses there and started trying to thrust their funky faces into what the fuck was going on in St. Louis. And obviously, the media liked their messaging, so they picked and appointed them to be the voice, the mouthpiece of the struggle that was taking place there. Fuck all the people who were there. They appointed them. They decided that these were going to be the people who we needed to listen to make sense of what was brewing on the street and why the pot was boiling over. We needed to hear what they had to say. So, no, it wasn't born in the streets. This shit ain't no street shit. We got to stop that. This was some branding shit that started with Tamir Rice. That's what this is. Twittering, branding, Instagramming, that's what this shit is. Getting on the television, talk circuit and cavorting with pundits and shit like that. That's what this is. It is no organization whatsoever. And you're seeing it's not organized. Because if it was organized, it wouldn't be unraveling at the seams right now, and people wouldn't be arguing about, well, where's the money? What's the goals? What's the direction? Anyway, the idea to keep power concentrated in the hands of its members, the people, that's a lie from the fucking beginning. And Maya King, whoever's writing this article, is lying between her fucking teeth. And she knows it. Because these people have resources. They know what's going on the streets. They know what happened. They know these people came from out of town, came to a place, thrust themselves, stuck a label on some shit, and said, we did it. It's ours. We're the leaders. That's not a movement, man. That's not what you call a movement. I don't know what this shit is, but it ain't a movement. Then they say that's changing. It never changed. It's always the way it was. This is the point I'm making. This is why this shit is trash. It's not changing. They just doing the same maneuver and the same jujitsu tactic, the same slip the banana in the tailpipe tactic that they used when they came to the forefront to begin with. After a summer of protests that made Black Lives Matter a household name. So you saying that the protests in and of themselves had something to do with Black Lives Matter? If that's the case, then why the motherfuckers in Ferguson start doing what they was doing before they even knew a goddamn thing about Black Lives Matter? Never even heard a word about Black Lives Matter. Never even heard BLM at all. Didn't know who the fuck Patrice Cullors was, Alicia Garza was, and whoever the other woman's name is. I just don't even know. I can't even. She's not even a factor. She don't even fuck with it no more. After a summer of protest that makes Black Lives Matter a household name, those atop the movement are making a series of moves to alter its power structure, organizing a political action committee. So they're going to start lobbying Congress now. On whose behalf? Forming corporate partnerships, adding a third organizing arm, and demanding an audience with President-elect Joe Biden. Now, where the fuck is the money, though? We're going to talk about that. The moves have triggered mutiny in the ranks. 10 local chapters are severing ties with the Black Lives Matter global network, as the national leadership is known. They are furious that Patrice Cullors, its remaining co-founder, assumed the role of executive director of the group and made these decisions without their input. That's how you know this shit ain't no movement. That's how you know this was a money grab. That's how you know this shit ain't got nothing to do with the streets and the people. Because you got a person at the top, and you already got an organizational structure, and she decided what she's going to do with the movement as if she's the fucking president of black people. She's the messiah of black people. And they still don't have an audience, still ain't got a voice in the Democratic Party. And I guarantee you some of that money that all these people gave to Black Lives Matter went to fund the fucking Democratic Party. I'm guaranteeing it. But the moves have triggered mutiny in the ranks. They're furious with Patrice. That's a move that to some signaled a rebuke of its leaderful structure, which gave every member an equal say and kept anyone, including a founder, from overreaching. Please. Please. Let me expand this just a little bit. Let me expand it just a little bit. The operations of Black Lives Matter have always been opaque. And that's what people got a problem with. How you gonna have a movement that's supposed to be leading people, black people, and then there's no fucking clarity, no openness, no publicity, no access. Oh, that's restricted information. We're not gonna tell you where millions and millions and millions of dollars going on behalf of black people, but just keep giving to black people. We need to talk about police brutality. Explain that shit to me. I'm having a difficult time being able to comprehend this shit. I'm serious, man. I'm just serious. Two of its three founders are no longer affiliated with the movement. And with good reason. They cashed out. They took their little money, man, and got the fuck up out of there. Alicia Garza is a millionaire now. How the fuck you gonna be a millionaire grassroots leader? Explain the shit. I don't understand it. Of motherfuckers dying from police brutality. And she ain't even motherfucking been to jail. Ain't even probably even been arrested or handcuffed a fucking day in her life. But she gonna be the mouthpiece of police brutality. And we supposed to just sit here and listen to this bullshit. See, I'm just being honest, man. To me, as far as I'm concerned, man, black people are like lemmings. They just ready to run off the cliff and do any motherfucking thing. As long as they feel good about doing it. While they doing it. They don't care what the consequence is, what the repercussions are. They have no long-term view. They just go with the motherfucking feeling at the time. Which is fucking dismal politically. It has nothing to do with learning from the models of social movements that black people have engaged in the past. This is some newfangled shit. Local TV or local Black Lives Matter activists say national leaders cut them off from funding, cut them off from the money. They ain't want them to get access to that bread and decision making, leaving them broke and taking the movement in a direction with which they fundamentally disagree. And as the Black Lives Matter movement grows in influence, with millions in donations and celebrity endorsements, local organizers argue they're the ones in the street pushing for change and they're not getting their due. This is the same fucking story. So now they done twisted and flipped the script on Black Lives Matter. So the motherfuckers that was following them, they did the same banana in the tailpipe shit too that they did to the people in Ferguson, in Baltimore, and elsewhere. All throughout this fucking country while garnering millions of dollars in donation money. But y'all still want to look at me like I got a problem, like I'm fucked up for telling y'all the nature of being hoodwinked, being bamboozled, run amok, led astray. And nobody is out here really talking about this shit. Everybody's tight-lipped about it. Like they scared to say something for fear of being called misogynistic or engaging in misogyny or being homophobic or some other fuckery. And everybody's just silent about this shit. And it's ridiculous to me, man. There's been intentional erasure of local activists. That shit's been happening from the start, says Sherry Dickerson, lead organizer with Black Lives Matter Oklahoma, in Oklahoma City. People assume that the money is distributed to local chapters. That's not the case. People also assume that when actions are made, the national leadership has the support and agreement from this collective that what they're saying is representative of us, and that's certainly not the case. The fall off follows an all too familiar trajectory of other grassroots movements. Which ones, huh? And how its leaders respond to the call for accountability could have major implications for Black Lives Matter long-term influence, just as an administration potentially more sympathetic to its goals come into power. Biden had already told you, I'm not defunding the police. I'm not really actually at fault for the 94 crime bill. I was meaning well. And they still ain't got no fucking audience with these people, but they done already did their work. They actually did the work that these political pundits and these political so-called leaders wanted them to do. Bait and switch. With colors at its helm, Black Lives Matter this year positioned itself as a new leader in activism and politics at the forefront of the national reckoning on race. After forming the Political Action Committee, which helped fund its ad campaigns to mobilize black voters, it's formalized its third form, Black Lives Matter Grassroots, to focus entirely on activism. But the spotlight on these changes is now exposing fractures in its operations and leadership structure as its ground troops go public with their complaints. We became chapters of Black Lives Matter as radical black organizers, embracing a collective vision of black people engaging in the protracted struggle for our lives against police terrorism. Really? This shit look like the Black Panthers, man. This shit look like SCLC, man. I mean, SCLC. This shit look like SNCC. Don't look shit like it to me. Nothing. 0-0. It don't have no correspondence, no similarity, no semblance whatsoever. None. With the willingness to do hard work and what would put us at risk, we expected that the central organization entity would support us, our chapters, in efforts to build would support us chapters in our efforts to build communally. They ain't got nothing, they don't want to have shit to do with the dusty, crusty niggas on the street. For real. Word up. Straight up. They don't want to have shit to do with the niggas on the street. Not for real. They already got their little move. They got their little intersectional move. They ain't fucking with niggas on the street, man. The 10 chapters that signed the letter, the self-proclaimed BLM 10, laid out a half a dozen points of contention and long-standing grievances. Colors is chief among their complaints, they said, arguing she made a power grab when she appointed herself executive director of the Black Lives Matter Global Network. They also said there's a lack of transparency over money the movement has raised and how chapters can access it. Since Black Lives Matter formed in 2013, the chapters complained they've received scant financial support despite repeated promises. So look, I shouldn't have to read any more of this shit. That's not a grassroots organization, man. That's a group of people looking for political clout and who've achieved the wildest dreams. They got rich. This shit ain't no different than like Jerry Heller and NWA, man. This shit is like no different than P. Diddy getting motherfuckers to get out there, go give me some cheesecake and shit. It ain't no different to me, man. None whatsoever. It's the same shit. And you get mad at me because I'm telling you off the rip that this is some straight fake ass bullshit to begin with. You get mad at me. You act like I'm somehow being homophobic. This ain't got shit to do with fucking homosexuality whatsoever. Nothing. It's got to do with people presenting themselves as leaders and representatives of the people that don't fuck with the people. That ain't no motherfucking goddamn grassroots nothing. That's some bullshit. Then that's why I say Black Lives Matter is some straight trash. If you got something to say about it, I'm not reading that bullshit anymore. If you can't see the wool being pulled over your eyes while it's being pulled over it, I don't know what to tell you. These people collected millions of dollars. And the primary victims of extrajudicial police homicides or police killings are black men. Black men don't even hardly have a voice in that organization, not even in the leadership. So you explain to me how it's possible, how, that you can even align your interests with this bullshit. How is it with a straight face, you can say you part of this, that you down with this, that you ride with this, that you want to remember your legacy as being connected to this. It's a shame, man. MLK rolling over in his grave. MLK rolling over in his grave. Malcolm X rolling over in his grave. Medgar Evers rolling over in the grave. Fannie Lou Hamer rolling over in the grave. Ella Baker rolling over in the grave. Bayard Rustin, the gay guy who started a whole bunch of this organizing. Black man, member of Omega Psi Fraternity, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, which a lot of brothers don't want to receive it and accept it. He started this nonviolent struggle shit. He was more grassroots than these motherfuckers ever was. They never collected millions upon millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars, and nobody knows where the money is. And the only answer we got right now is, you need to be quiet, and you don't love these ladies. You don't protect black women. That's the best shit y'all got for the greatest motherfucking banana in the tailpipe of the goddamn millennium. For black people? Man, I'm done with it, dude. If you feel so inclined, man, come on in. Brown Bird, how you doing, sir? Brown Bird, are you there?
Yeah, good evening, sir. How you doing?
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. I'm not really staying too long. I seen your title and it just made me laugh because right now you can see the detriment of so-called black women when they say all these different things about protection and trying to say that black men need to do their part and yada yada yada. And I find it funny because everywhere you're looking right now in the United States of America, mainly in the Western world, the black woman has yet again proven herself to be unfit to be taken serious in this society, and the whole entire world can see it. The whole entire nation can see it, and she refuses to step up to the plate to change the paradigm for herself before she wants to put that paradigm on the community. So it doesn't mean anything to me. I think it's funny and it's hilarious. It will continuously be funny and hilarious as much as they think that this next president, aka Mr. Joe Biden, is going to do something for the community. He ain't going to do jack shit. And neither does that fake black woman Kamala Harris that they got out there who's playing vice president. All it is a game of sorrow. Besides a game of sorrow, trying to come up with these whole entire unrealistic bullshit type of antics that they want to prove to the world is as if everything is our fault. And I will say this, I'm proud of our brothers for stepping up to the plate. I'm proud of the brother that I just seen a couple of weeks ago, Kevin Kelly, because I really wanted to mention him because I was so proud that there was a black man who owns a business, is successful, and is allowed to lay down the law against black women about what he allows and what he doesn't allow in his house. So I will say that at the end of the day, this is a great moment for black women to understand you are fucking up on your own accord, and we love it because now you get to get the judgment as everybody was waiting for you to do, and now you have to step up to the plate whether you like it or not.
All right, brother, you said a lot. So thank you for joining the Green Gorilla channel this afternoon or this evening. Catch me again, man. Subscribe, like, share.
Yeah, well, I'm already subscribed to you, bro. Have a good one.
Take care, man. If anybody else would like to join in on the proceedings this evening, I want them to feel like they're invited to do so if they feel so inclined. I'll be right back in 1 second on the Green Gorilla channel. Quick commercial break. We're back. I'm the G with a PhD. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chasers. Now, let me just say this, man. I honestly believe that in the past, in the civil rights movement, you had some black women like Fannie Lou Hamer who were actually grassroots. And when asked, don't you want to leave your husband and join us? She told him, I'm not trying to get rid of my husband. I love my husband. I love my family. I'm not trying to get rid of my husband or my family. The only thing I'm trying to get rid of is racism. That's what she said. You had Ella Baker, a grassroots organizer. I don't care what you say about some of these people, man. Right now, these women have, after the 60s, after the civil rights movement, shit changed. The dynamic between black men and women, especially as it pertains to social mobilization, the shit changed. And it didn't change for the better. It changed for the worse. Okay? Now, you had Ella Baker, man, who believed you got to get the grassroots involved. You got to get people who aren't typically involved in the political process to be engaged in the political process. We need to go out here and make sure, and this is when black people were not voting at all in mass for fear of being killed or having their house bombed or having their children kidnapped and lynched. So this is at a time when it seemed like black people had this shit together and they were actually working on things from a real grassroots level. I don't know what this shit is now. I don't really know what it is. But I know there's so many people willing to buy into the bullshit. And we're black people, man. Like, we're supposed to be educated, many of us. We're supposed to be progressive, many of us. How can you be progressive and educated and go along with this fucking okie dokie bullshit? How can you be a part of a movement where the movement is collecting millions and millions of dollars and nobody knows where the money is? How can you have a movement that's supposed to be dedicated to police brutality, but you have no men anywhere, the very demographic that suffers from this phenomenon the most, they can't even have a robust voice or be central in the conversation related to something that impacts and that affects them more than any other group in the black community. Instead, they decided we're going to center black trans women and let them have a say. Now, I don't have a problem with queer politics, man. If that's your politics, I feel you should have an avenue to advocate for it. But don't do that shit over a pile of dead black male bodies, man. That's tasteless bullshit. And that's the very reason I consider Black Lives Matter to be absolute trash. And these leaders are going to go down, as far as I'm concerned, in history as the fakest, phoniest, so-called leaders of the black community to have ever risen to the fore in the history of Negro-dom. Having said all that, man, I'm out of here, man. I'm not going to speak on this shit anymore. Before I get mad and start cursing more than I done cursed before ever on my own channel, man. I'm out of here, man. I'll holler at y'all, man, tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm a phenomenon, I shine like Orion. I came in a rap gang to smack it up like Heron, transform it like Megatron. Wait, like Yamatron, most rappers are some peons. I'ma starve them like Ramadan, I'm troublesome. You don't really want no troublesome, cause I pop guns like hood chicks do bubble gum. I been dumb, gon' stay that way till kingdom come. When the sun I'm man, unleash a demon, a polygon. I'm heavy, son, got more knowledge than Farrakhan, more gang than Cap. Karma that bitch, some name done one. Stay lit off some Shandon, maybe about they rum, stay drink to some Nordstrom. Call me that Dapper Don, more violent than Genghis Khan. The members of Taliban, niggas faker than silicon. Get hit like a .com, like soldiers in Lebanon. I'm bringing that red rum. When I get through with you, son, you gon' think I'll see rap. I carry weight like a heavyweight. Bake more cakes than patty cake. Watch the fiends salivate. You a lightweight, bantam weight. Better contemplate. If you violate, make you levitate to the pearly gates. I fascinate when I conversate from the show me state where these niggas love to hate and hot murder rate or the waste. But this flow is just a taste of God's grace. Shining this light in the ugly place in the prophecy. Got more wisdom than Socrates' philosophies. You don't really want no parts of me, can't you see? I'm slicker than Mephistopheles, stronger than Hercules, more dangerous than the Damocles. The MCs crying me pretty please. I wet up they white tees, knock them out they wallabies. Now they touch my deliries. For coming up short of the little C's when I break out the killer bees. I study music by Caucasian, hit chicks look like Ashanti. When I'm breaking them off, they yell at odd poppy. You rack rappers is sloppy, you can't stop me with that. We can sorry, copy, malarkey. I'm a monster like Frankenstein, rock harder than Palestine. You slams, dropping dimes, a snake and serpentine. Can't stand to see me glow like Nas with his big shine. All you haters cold in it, cold sores need calamine. But my hot shit like red brick hitting your head, leave the sour taste up in your mouth like lemon heads, like Simply Red. Wasted some years up in the fans when I touched down. Already red, that gave me head. I got higher vision for higher living. I'm highly driven. I'm acting women like it's some sort of sick religion. Driving an Impala, sitting on it, these 20 inches, and they spinning just like the planets in the solar system.
Black country people, over in Africa, down to America. Black country people, we make all the world go round and around, yes. Black country people, up in Canada, down to Jamaica. Black country people, we make all the world go round and around.